Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's Elections Daily live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to our final one of 2022. I am Joe Szymanski, as always, here with fellow contributors and editors, Kraz Greinitz and Dylan Brown. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on tonight. Obviously, polls, it is 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Polls have closed in the final key federal election of the 2022 cycle, Georgia. The runoff between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker has turned off. We are watching results as they hopefully start to come in imminently here as polls have closed. We're going to throw it here to Kraz here as our numbers guy first. Kraz, this has been a lot less hyped up than last year's version. This has been a lot less talked about, obviously, since Democrats already are at 50 seats, already have a Senate majority. But the difference between a 0 seat, a tied majority, and then a 1 seat majority can be quite large, obviously. So what exactly are you looking for here, Kraz, if Herschel Walker is to have any chance? What exactly are Republicans looking for?
So we know there were about 1.9 million early votes cast. We think there are probably about 1.5 election day votes. What we're looking for is to see if Walker can hold Warnock to about plus 10 in the early vote. So in November, the early vote was about Warnock plus 10, and the election day vote was about Walker plus 15. And the election day vote made up like 35% of the overall vote. And so what ended up happening there was Warnock won, or, in quotes, won the first round very narrowly with those numbers. So what we're looking for tonight is that because there's 1.5 million election day votes and there are 1.9 million early votes, the election day vote should make up more of the total electorate than it did in November. Round numbers, if there's about 3.4 million votes, we would expect it to make up more like 45% of the overall electorate. So if Walker can hold Warnock to plus 10 in the early vote, he only needs to win the election day vote by 13, which is less than what he wanted by in November. He'd have a chance. If, though, Warnock's early vote lead grows to 15 points, he needs to win it by 19, which is a big increase. And if it grows to 20 points, he's got to win it by 25, 26 points. So what we're looking for is how is Warnock doing in that early vote? And we have a handy little spreadsheet here that is going to show us how Warnock did in the early vote in some of Georgia's biggest counties. Unfortunately, we don't have data for every single county, so we can't tell you if a random rural county comes in, how that compares. But the big counties we do have, and we'll try to track that. So that's what we're looking for early in the night.
Yeah. Dylan, obviously I mentioned it already, but a lot less general buzz around this race. I'll ask you this. Do you lay that up to the fact that majority control of the Senate has already been decided with Republicans losing Pennsylvania on election night proper? Or do you think it's because of kind of this shortened runoff data? Obviously, that was a big change that was made in the aftermath of last time's runoff. Instead of getting rid of it, they changed it instead to a 4-week runoff instead of about the 8-week runoff that it was in 2020 to 2021. So which one do you kind of lay more of the, I don't want to say blame because I think that's a negative word used there, but kind of more of the reasoning behind for why it doesn't seem like this race has gotten as much talk about as I think when we were thinking about a runoff in Georgia, we thought it would get going into the night.
Well, if anything, I think that the shortened runoff period, if this were for control of the Senate, would have made it even more talked about. You'd have more focus on it because there's not as much time to campaign. I think this is entirely because majority control isn't on the line. I don't see a lot of enthusiasm even from conservative election Twitter for Herschel Walker. I do see it for Warnock. So yeah, I'm not at all surprised that this has not gotten a lot of hype.
Yeah. So obviously the difference of obviously Nevada was the closest Senate race on that was decided on the night November. Obviously a difference of what ended up being about 9,500 votes between Catherine Cortez Masto and Adam Laxalt. Differences there made the difference between whether this night would matter and whether it would kind of just be +1 or at where we've been this whole time. Obviously, what we're looking at here is something different. We are still waiting imminently here for first results. Mainly, we expect early vote. We hope we see them very soon, but we are waiting imminently for results here regarding this runoff. Again, not as much talked about, but I think we know the candidates. I'm going to go throw it back to Dylan here. You mentioned about the enthusiasm gap that's been seen. Herschel Walker, the candidate of scandal, the candidate of controversial comments. What went wrong for Republicans with this candidacy? Was it that he just wasn't vetted enough? Was it that they did not do a good job preparing him? Or is it a combination of both? Or what do you see, Dylan, as an outsider? What did Republicans fail to recognize with Herschel Walker that would kind of make this race kind of go as bad as it has for him?
Well, okay, I don't want to dogpile Herschel Walker too badly here because he is arguably the best candidate Republicans recruited this cycle. I don't think he was vetted very well, but when you look at the other candidates put up, Blake Masters, we've talked ad nauseum about all of his problems. Dr. Oz, same thing.
Kraz, I'm bringing you in here, Kraz. According to Decision Desk HQ, we have numbers in crucial Fulton County. We believe this is early vote. These early vote numbers are 82 to 17.5 for Raphael Warnock.
Okay. So 82, 17.5. So that would be 82.5, 17.5. So that'd be
80. Yeah, it's like 82.4 to 17.6. If you want to be more.
And how many votes are there? Can you do the quick?
That would be 155,206 for Warnock, 33,179 for Mr. Walker.
So you're looking at like 190,000 votes, right?
Yeah.
So according to Georgia Votes, which kind of tracks this stuff, that's basically all the votes in Fulton County, all the early votes. If that number is accurate, Warnock's doing 14% better in that early vote than he did in November. He won the early vote. He won, or sorry, not quite 14, but 12-ish. He won the early vote there in November, 12 or 13. He won the early vote there in November by 52%. This would be a 65% gap. So that'd be about 13%, give or take, depending on the exact decimals.
We have numbers from Richmond County as well, where Augusta is.
And what's the number?
So it's 70. It's 79-21. In basic county, that's 25,757 for Warnock, 6,908 for Walker.
Yeah, if that's all the votes, that's about 7% better for Warnock in Richmond versus November's early vote. But Fulton makes sense to me because if you looked at the turnout in Fulton, South Fulton, which is heavily Democratic, had pretty robust turnout. North Fulton, which is more Republican, way less robust early vote turnout. There were line problems, also a lot of Republicans who might be uncomfortable with Walker up there. We know Walker heavily underperformed Kemp in North Fulton, and that North Fulton specifically had really bad early vote turnout for this runoff. So that number does not surprise me. The Richmond number does surprise me a little bit. We'll have to see when, if there's fully counted counties, obviously. But yeah.
Yeah, we also do have some results in Republican leaning areas. I believe this would be their early vote as well. Brantley County has given out a pretty interesting number. So I don't know if this is early vote then, because it's 89 to 11 in favor of Herschel Walker. That's a total of 2,186 for Walker, 268 for Warnock in Brantley County, and just had a whole bunch of counties pop up. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to track this as I would have hoped. But
yeah, they're dumping like right now. Oh my god,
they are dumping. Here we go.
Yeah, all New York Times has are Brantley, Grady, and Twiggs.
Yeah, here.
Unfortunately,
so far a little ahead, so I'm going to put that both in our regular chat, as well as I'm sending it to both Kraz and Dylan here in our private chat. I have an interesting question here from Heather Green. as we come in here. Obviously, JD Vance. I think Eric, if he was on tonight, could probably talk a little bit more about this. And I'll throw it to Dylan here since the crowd's looking at numbers here. Is it just because Ohio is now kind of where it is right now for why JD Vance ran? I think that'd be my answer. Is that your answer too?
Honestly, JD Vance, if you look at it, probably did worse than both of them compared to their state's partisanship. So what did JD Vance do differently? Worse.
Wait, the comparison is to who? The comparison is to
Oz and Masters.
Oh, I mean, I actually don't think he did worse. I mean, I actually think Masters did worse. Well, I don't know, because I think if you look at the fundamentals of the year, you would have expected Ohio to be like R plus 15, and you would have expected, like, honestly, like he might have done a little bit better.
I don't know, because you would expect Vance, a generic Republican may not have gotten R plus 15, but R plus 10, R plus 12.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a generic Republican in Pennsylvania in an R plus 3 year, if you're just using straight leans, right, should have gotten like R plus 6, and Oz got beat by 5. So like that's like why I'm like,
okay,
and also
fair,
similar in Arizona. So like, I mean, I think the answer is basically just that Vance. I think there are a couple things. I think Ryan was a good candidate, but he's a politician's right? Like he is clearly a buttoned up politician all the way down. That's a little bit different than Fetterman, who comes off as very kind of like, I wear athletic shorts everywhere. And like Kelly's a strong incumbent. So I think that's the main difference, is quality of opponent. I also think that like Vance was able to buoy himself by like doing better than Trump in the Cincinnati area, which like is not everything, but it is like 1/7 of Ohio's votes, and Youngstown, which is like, again, another chunk. So it's like, yeah, he got crushed in a lot of the state, but like he held up okay in like some fairly large counties. So that like probably matters too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of it would just come down to Vance didn't really seem to try. I mean, yeah, Tim Ryan was a politician through and through. Not a bad candidate, but
no, I don't think he was bad. I just think like he's
what consultants think an amazing candidate is.
Yeah, exactly. He's like clearly a politician up and down, like it's just like, I don't know. So
yeah, he doesn't have, consultants think he has the John Tester aesthetic, but he has the politician's view of a John Tester aesthetic.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good. That's actually a pretty good way to describe that. I think, Dylan. I like that. I like that use. Consultant's idea of what John Tester is.
Yes.
Okay, so Kraz, I've got another big county in for you here.
Yeah, oh wait, New York Times, a bunch of what's coming in now? What's coming in?
I got a big county for you, Cherokee County in. I believe this is an early vote. 62-38 for Mr. Walker.
62-38 for Walker. In November, Cherokee was 70-30 for Walker.
Wow, okay, then. Good night, everyone. Good night. That's it. Okay. That would be a 60.
Well, we need to see the election day vote, because what we do know is that election day will make a bigger chunk of the overall vote than it did in November. That being said, right, with these shifts we're seeing in the early reporting counties with the early vote, Walker would need to be getting stuff like plus 20, plus 25 in the election day vote.
Just percentage wise, what is the early vote, or what is the early vote election day difference? Because I think the Secretary of State,
it's probably going to be 56-44 in favor of early vote.
Yeah, I think Raffensperger said it was 1.3 million election day votes.
I think he said that earlier, but I think we're going to get 1.5. I think it's going to be 1.5. And I think if you do 1.5 divided by 3.4, which is what the number would be, it'd be about 44% of the overall vote, give or take.
That's pretty good for Walker.
No, it is really good for Walker. The problem is that even if that's the case, if these early vote numbers hold where they are, he would need to win the election day vote by 25%. And he only won it by 15% in November. And I mean, maybe election day turnout was super slanted towards GOP areas. It's very possible. But I also think that when you look at like DeKalb had good turnout today, Forsyth, which is Republican, I don't think there was a lot of difference in turnout from what we saw today. So that's why I'm kind of like a little bit skeptical. Let's see. Apparently, Richmond County is in. That's 33,000 votes. What did they cast in early voting?
Yeah, I told you about Richmond. That's the Augusta area. I told you about that.
Oh yeah, well they have more. Sorry, they dumped additional like election. They dumped like election.
They did? I'm not.
Wait,
but not
wait,
all of them. They dumped like 4,000 election day votes.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm sorry. This is completely off topic. They made a JD Vance biopic?
Yeah,
because Hillbilly Elegy, sir.
yeah.
I didn't know they actually made a movie off of that.
Yeah, the Ron Howard movie.
Really?
Yeah, Ron Howard made a Netflix movie about.
It was a Netflix movie. That's why I've never heard of it. They don't advertise their movies.
Yeah, it was a Netflix only period piece.
Still Ron Howard and Glenn Close.
Yeah, I think Amy Adams was in it as like his mom. I think too.
Wow. All right. I might have to
I
watch
think
that.
I think Glenn Close was his grandmother, and Amy Adams was his drug abusing mother. So,
all right.
There you go. That JD Vance had a movie about him, and then immediately threw all that Hollywood goodwill away by running as a Republican for an elected office. So we're tracking in numbers right now, folks. The Times is slightly ahead of Decision Desk at this moment. Right now, it's mostly all early vote in right now, with about 12% of the vote in. Raphael Warnock has a 64-36 lead over Herschel Walker. That's a difference of basically just under 120,000 votes between the two. We still have not seen a whole lot of election day vote in yet, but as we hopefully start to see that over the next hour and a half, we will certainly start, as those numbers start to come in, we will certainly learn a whole lot more about what's coming in tonight. But luckily, we are seeing this early vote so far come in tonight, and I think so far telling us quite a lot. And Kraz, I think you've already hinted at this, but this is not painting a very helpful picture so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're looking at the shifts, right? I mean, it's a little bit tough to tell. I can't tell on the fly, but if these early vote numbers end up being about 7% more Democratic than they were in November, then Walker's got to start winning the election day vote by 20%. And maybe he does. We haven't seen election day vote yet, but I mean, it'd be very tough. Clayton wasn't all its early vote. It's like one precinct. Oconee drops its early vote. That's Walker plus 26. I wonder if I have numbers for that. I don't know if I do, actually. I don't, which is a bummer. But, yeah, I mean, this would just not be what you want to see if you're the Walker campaign, because now you really need to hope that those election day splits, that the splits on election day are big, right? That like the voters who came out were like all Republican. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible, but
you wouldn't expect that.
You wouldn't get right. That's what I'm saying. It's very possible. You wouldn't expect it given the data we have. So that's all.
Yeah. So still waiting, folks. We're continuing to get more results in. Obviously, some of these more rural Republican areas are starting to report even their early vote numbers. We are seeing an improvement in the totals for Herschel Walker. We are starting to see some of his numbers improve here as the time goes on.
But we also only have a couple of the big.
Yes, obviously there's DeKalb, Gwinnett, and Cobb County, and Henry County have all yet to report. Muskogee County, Chatham County. These are some big counties that have yet to report for Democrats.
Yep. I do want to see a fully completed county, right? Like I do want to see like a fully completed one that we can see the numbers from, because we do want to see what the election day splits are.
Yeah.
And that'll matter a lot.
Most definitely. Once we start getting those.
Paulding early vote comes in at plus 16 for Walker.
That's not good, is it?
It was plus 24 for him in November.
Wow. Oh boy.
I am interested. I am curious. Is the electorate? is the electorate just going to be that much bluer, or are more Democrats just voting early this time for some reason? Because those are big shifts.
So I don't think it's more Democrats voting early. It's that white GOP turnout lagged versus November. The question is, does that get made up on the election day vote? Right. Like that's the.
I think I'm a little skeptical of that, because if they're not voting early and they did last time, why would they vote on election day instead?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would echo that I am a little bit skeptical of that explanation. I'm just saying that,
no, of course,
if election day is like very white and GOP, Rockdale comes in, it's plus 62 for Warnock in the early vote. Sorry, it was plus 56 for him in November. So,
all right, a little bit less of a swing, but a swing nonetheless.
A little bit less of a swing. And again, we want to see. I want to see. Early or not early vote, sorry, election day vote.
Yeah, folks, still waiting in here. We are about just 20 minutes after polls close. We've got about, according to Decision Desk HU, we've got about 16% of the votes counted. It's basically 61 to 39 right now, the vote lead. Again, with Atlanta area being one of the first big drops, it does mean we've seen Herschel Walker steadily climb from his earlier spot here. His early votes have come in. It's 61 to 39 right now. Raphael Warnock over Herschel Walker. About 116,000 vote difference between the two candidates as of right now. Of course, as we start to be prepared for some of these deep red northern counties as well, look like they're getting ready to start to report here as well.
I want to see Forsyth is the big one.
Yeah, obviously.
Rabin just reported. I mean, I don't have numbers for these, but Rabin, Towns,
Rabin,
Towns, Habersham. Chatham. I think.
There we go. It's Chatham County. 73-27 for Warnock percentage wise.
Plus 46. He won it. He won it by 29 in November.
Ooh.
I still want to see a fully completed county. And granted, I have a hard time figuring out if any of them are, because I have to click around ungodly high number of counties in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, merge some counties, Times, please.
According to the New York Times, Brantley is all the way in. Although I can't verify if that's true or not. I think that's true.
Let me check.
Yeah, that's true. Good numbers for Walker. He wins it 92-8. This is the most Republican county in Georgia as well. Like, he wins it 92-8. He won it 90-8 in November. So he gets a 2-point shift there.
All right. Well, good for him.
And robust turnout there. There were 5,800 votes there in November and 5,500 there now. So that's a robust turnout, extremely robust turnout in rural Brantley County.
So we're still waiting for some of these Atlanta area places to count, but otherwise, other than Columbus, most of the really heavy, I guess DeKalb and Cobb will both be pretty heavily, but gonna see what his margin is after we start getting those numbers in for sure, and then from there, just gonna probably get more Republican favored. I would bet.
Yep. Yeah, I do want to see more stuff because, like, I mean, like the one fully reporting county we do have shifted a little bit to Walker, so I think it's good to be a little bit cautious.
Start to be a little bit more cautious, you'd say?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you want to wait for, fully reporting counties, right? I mean,
We're saying that Washington County is also apparently fully reporting. I'm trying to look at where that.
And that would be even. That'd be even with November, roughly. I mean, I got to get the numbers up. It was plus 1.4 for Walker in November, and according to New York Times, it comes in at 51.49. I don't know what the actual decimal. I don't know what the decimal splits are. So you'd have to know, but it seems to be basically the same. And comes in at 6,800 votes now versus, I guess more, but versus like 7,800 in November. So I guess that's actually kind of a fairly large drop in turnout actually versus what we saw in Brantley. That's like pretty big drop in turnout, but I mean, Walker holds up okay there.
Yeah, so around 20% of the total votes in, folks. Lead for Raphael Warnock is 58.3 to 41.7. So we've got about a 17-point lead right now for Warnock over Walker. Still waiting for some key Democratic counties to come in, specifically DeKalb and Cobb counties, as well as Gwinnett. And then obviously there's quite a lot of southeastern and northern Republican counties that have yet to report vote count that we are preparing for here. So it'll be very interesting to see. Only 2 counties have reportedly fully in here, Brantley and Washington. Neither moved that much for Herschel Walker. So even though the early vote in Fulton was very interesting in some of these big cities, right now when we're looking at these fully reported counties, maybe we could be in for a tight night here. So be prepared.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would say, gotta be cautious. And that's why I was saying, wait for all the election day votes to come in, right? Because you don't want to jump to any conclusions. But again, I mean, these counties are kind of small, so you got to wait to see. I want to see some maybe bigger counties.
Yeah.
And, to be fair, Warnock did win, or I'll put win in air quotes because he didn't really win, but, he won the November vote. So in terms of margin, Walker does need to be exceeding his margins by a little bit in some of these places to be on pace. But, he wants. He did get robust turnout in Brantley, not super robust turnout in Washington, though.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because Washington, I mean, I can do the math on this, but I'm pretty sure it's 7,600. Yeah, I mean, it was basically 7,800 votes last time, and now it's down to 6,800. So, yeah, I mean, that's a drop of 1,000. I mean, that's like a pretty significant drop in turnout versus what we saw in Brantley. But yeah, so.
Kind of just waiting for like a big county to really report in now. I feel like we're kind of what we're waiting for here.
Yeah. I will say Dave Wasserman has slightly different numbers than we do on Brantley. I think because the New York Times doesn't show us decimals.
That is correct.
The rounding is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So apparently Walker really only won Brantley this time by 83, and he won it by 83.4 last time. So it actually is, despite the way the rounding works, he actually went down in margin. Somehow. I mean, yeah, somehow. Maybe the New York Times November one might be off too. So yeah, I mean, I think Dave Wasserman made the point that bottom not falling out in Brantley.
Yeah, he's not bottom falling in these rural counties, which was
No.
kind of the issue for Republicans for Kelly for them in 2021 a little bit in those two runoffs was that.
Rural black turnout was really robust in a lot of these in places like Washington.
Well, and I will say that doesn't seem like it's the case this year, according to reports. It does not seem like rural black turnout is as robust as it was in 2021.
No, but I would still say it was fairly robust for the runoff compared to November. It's more just, Walker, I think, can if he's able to get enough rural white voters to the polls, then that can obviously counteract it. I think the problem in 2021, was both that rural black turnout was pretty good for Warnock, but also that rural white turnout in that runoff was just terrible. I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, it was just trash. Hall County comes in early vote. Walker plus 39 and some change, was plus 48 in November. So going to shift, but again,
we got Gwinnett County and we got Gwinnett County in.
Oh, big. Okay.
We have it as 68.5 for Warnock, 31.5 for Walker.
Okay, so plus 37.
Yes.
If that's all of it, I mean, Gwinnett in November was plus 27 for Warnock.
No boy.
Be another shift. But again, you want to see election day vote. You want to see fully reporting counties. You really can't know anything until you start seeing more fully reported counties. Yeah, so I mean, the fully reported counties point to a tight race. Although I don't know what the early vote was in these places. Wait. Give me a fully reporting county. It's really election night where we couldn't get a fully reporting county to save our lives for a while.
That was pretty terrible.
That was pretty awful.
Yeah, that was no fun.
I mean, some have like 89, but I want to see like the 95, greater than 95% reporting, because don't want to draw any conclusions until we get that. Don't see anything.
Johnson County is 95% reporting.
Where is Johnson? That's going to be. Oh, where is this one?
Yeah, where is this one doing?
Over from Berks.
Over
from Burke. You see Burke County over
Oh, yeah.
I
see it.
Yeah. Sorry, there's really no good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Sorry, New York Times has Johnson at 84%. So
4%. That's why we're not seeing anything.
Yeah.
Decision Desk has it at 95.
Fair. I'll hold off on a little bit on that one just because I don't see it at 95%.
Yeah, let me see. Is that a difference?
Yeah. Decision
Not
Desk
really.
has
So
it
we'll
at
see.
96.
We'll see, because sometimes Decision Desk has been funky with the with their total estimated reporting.
Yeah, I'm looking at Decision Desk because their map is bigger and
Yes.
it's easier to
Understand.
go
Yeah,
over the counties.
Definitely understandable in that regard.
So apparently Pierce County is fully reporting, which is another insanely Republican county in South Georgia. And according to the New York Times, it shifted 0.4% towards Raphael Warnock. So big shifts.
All right. Well, there you
go. But turned out good in South Georgia, actually. I mean, Pierce dropped 6%, Brantley dropped 5%, but Washington dropped 12%.
Yeah, and Washington's one of those more closer to like rural black.
Yeah, it's like very evenly split county.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty mixed bag right now. I don't think you can really draw too many conclusions.
Not really, no. But this is showing like unless I guess the final results in the suburbs end up like really like being like very fucked for Walker basically. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Did who just? What the hell?
What happened?
Who just fully? What the hell?
What happened?
No, because Decision Desk numbers are very funky right now.
Oh, are they a little?
Yeah, Decision Desk has a bunch of counties fully in.
Oh.
No. Like they have like it's like 1 million votes for Warnock, and I'm like just not seeing like where.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I think that's a.
Okay, nope. It just came in. Okay.
What happened? Wait, what?
I'm confused.
I'm very confused. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't see these votes out there. I think this is a counting error.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this is definitely a counting error, I think. Okay, this was because that was very confusing to me.
I'm not sure where the counting error is coming from though.
Yeah,
that's why I'm confused because I'm not seeing where it's coming from.
Unless they just got
because they've only got like 155,000 out of Atlanta.
Oh, here it is. It's in Bullock County.
Wait, where?
White County too. Go look at White County.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, Bullock County has 155,000 votes for Warnock.
Same with Newton.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it's just a data entry error.
And
ignore it. Yeah, there's a bunch of
Putnam also had a weird data reporting error. So I don't think there's even 155,000 people in Putnam County.
Okay, Ben Hill County fully reporting according to the New York Times. Its turnout drops to 6.5%, and it shifts 1.4% towards Senator Warnock. Again, nothing to write home about. Really.
I mean, a 1.4% swing, if it held, would be enough.
Oh, well, yeah, he won the first round by 0.9. Any shift,
yeah.
Wins. It's I think that
it's not enough to be maybe like the 4 or 5% margin that people were talking about. I think.
Yeah.
That I think is maybe more Kratz's point.
Unless the suburbs really come in, which is possible. Yeah. Seemingly, the Atlanta suburbs just cannot stop getting more and more blue every election. But
yes. Yeah, unless something confused. Yeah. This has actually been a little bit more interesting than I thought it would be so far. So I'm kind of loving this right now. I'm having a little bit more fun with this than I thought I was going to have. I got to say.
This is definitely better than spending my night rereading my civil procedure outline again.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, you just can't reread the outlines anymore.
No, at a certain point, you've studied enough.
So, according to the New York Times, which I'm using right now because Georgia Decision Desk has not yet fixed a lot of its reporting errors. It is basically a 10-point margin between Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker right now.
Yep.
101,000 vote lead for Warnock. He's up 45 to 45, with 30% of votes estimated in according to the New York Times.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, so according to Nate Cohn, the Needle's probably going to debut at like Warnock +1 because they think that if nobody changed their vote, he would get about 59% of the early vote based on just like the demographics of the early vote. And that's about where he's tracking. Although maybe it wouldn't actually be +1 if election day isn't substantially more Republican based on how many election day votes there are. But I wouldn't be surprised if it opens at a very narrow Warnock lead. We might have another fully reporting county, Pulaski. Walker wins it by 38.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he won it by in November. Give me a second to check. He won it by 39. So
Okay.
very similar. Yeah, so a 0.9% shift towards Warnock. I think that's not what Walker wants to see ideally because he was down in the first round at 0.9%. So he can't survive having county shift away.
You can't survive that, yeah.
Right. But it doesn't how do I say it doesn't take him out of the running, right? The bottom hasn't fallen out, right? We're not seeing 5, 6, 7 point shifts. He doesn't have to think he's doomed. It's just he can't have this shift apply all across the state. And as more counties come in, we can start to kind of get a sense
of where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, if you
Where'd
average
you come from?
out,
Where'd you go?
if you average out all of the county swings right now, like what was that 0.8? It's like Warnock plus 0.4 if you average them all out, which is like nothing. Oh, we got more starting to roll in. Warren County comes in essentially exactly the same according to the New York Times. Yeah,
Cone is very, very interesting here, sticking to his D+1 prediction.
Yeah. Rabin comes in at 0.9% more Republican, and that's rural North Georgia, more Republican than in November. So I think if you look at the shifts right now, then yeah, they line with about D+1, I think, if my rough estimation is right. All right, getting more results. Muskogee.
I was
Again,
about to say Muskogee has come in with its.
Yeah, I mean
early vote.
another shift, about 7 points towards Senator Warnock from his November early vote performance. But again, as we've seen, you have to wait for that election day vote. Drawing conclusions too early might be misleading. Oh, now we're really starting to get results rolling in. Yeah, Towns County gets 1.4% more Republican. That would be enough for Walker if it were replicated. Bleckley gets 0.3% more Democratic. I think I mentioned Pulaski was 0.9% more Democratic earlier. All right, let's see. Yeah, fully reporting county starting to come in more. Miller County, 2.6% shift to Walker from November. That's another rural county.
Oh boy, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, although it does have
that's the Southwest, so that's a
Southwest. Although it's one of the Republican ones in the Southwest.
Yeah, it's
like,
one of the Republican ones, but it's
like 75
Democratic voter base there. That will still be rural.
Yep.
Black
and the needle is live.
The needle is live.
Warnock +1.
Yep, that sounds right.
Yep. Okie dokie. All right.
So not the Warnock landslide people thought we would get.
No, but see, this is why, and I just want to be clear. This is why you wait for election day votes in fully reported counties, right? Like, obviously, Walker needs big election day numbers in the Atlanta metro, not just in like rural South Georgia.
Somebody in the chat has Cobb County early vote from their website.
Yeah, but that's not all of it, I don't think. So it isn't on New York Times, but it's not all.
It isn't on the Times, but yeah, it's only 21% of the total vote.
Oh, okay.
That's not all of the early
yeah,
vote.
so that's not all of it then.
Yeah. I'm just mostly watching for like fully completed counties and seeing if we can
seeing what we get fully complete.
Johnson.
Warren County, which was a Warnock +6 county, literally shifted nothing.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was like nothing. Weirdly, there is some disagreement about whether Johnson County is fully reporting. I kind of don't think it is. Like, only because, okay, some people think it is, but I don't think so, because it would be a 9% shift to Warnock right now, and I just don't think that's the case in that count. Like,
Times has it at 92.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 538 has it as an almost 10-point shift to Warnock right now, which like would be quite impressive. But I just don't think, given what we've seen in other counties, that shift is going to happen in John. Like, I just don't think that's fully. I think that election day is missing. Like personally. Yeah, Clayton came in at 91-9 the early vote for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a surprise!
Just like only a couple points better than his November early vote. But like once you're winning 90-10, it's kind of hard to go up that
Yeah,
much.
you can't really do much better
It's
than that.
good stuff. So I guess, that's not really surprising. That's about what you would expect. Fayette comes in at plus 18 for Warnock. I think that's everything from early vote in Fayette, although I don't know.
Yeah, it's at 52%, so I bet that's it.
That'd be a huge shift in early vote for him. I just don't think that's. I just think the election day is gonna crush his margin there.
Someone made a good point in the chat earlier that maybe is kind of interesting to think about. Is the shortened period actually making some people decide just to go for election day instead of what was a pretty short early vote period?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that like a possibility? I don't know if it's. I got no like basis of truth on that. I'm just saying like that's like interesting like theory in my opinion is what I'm suggesting there.
I'd like to meet the voter who's like, I was gonna submit a mail-in or an early vote, but
well,
on like
I'm talking
day
about like
9,
early in person, because that you have to like actually like make decisions in your daily life if you want to vote early in person versus like the mail ballots, which obviously.
Well, the problem is there just isn't a lot of time to send in a mail ballot.
Fair.
Right. So you have to think that people are more shifting to early vote, and then or maybe some early voters shifting to election day because of the compressed period. Yeah, I actually would probably think so. All right. Let's see if we have any more completed counties. Okay. McDuffie County, all the way in, 1.3% more Democratic than it was in November. Franklin County, all the way in, 1.8% more Republican than it was in November. Eccles County, all the way in, 2.5% more Republican than it was in November. So Walker holding his own in rural South Georgia, rural Georgia mostly.
Seminole County. Holy
yeah, there's no way that's actually all in.
You don't think so?
That'd be a 43% drop in turnout.
Yeah.
Like that's just not. I mean, that's just not completely counted. That's it. That's an error. There's no way that's completely counted.
I can't even find Seminole County.
It's bottom left corner.
Most bottom corner you can be in Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
But that's that's not actually fully reported. I would be shocked.
Decision Desk only has that at
68%.
68%. Compared to the Times, and that's the same vote totals too.
Yeah, so Miller, Eccles, Franklin. I mean, Walker getting the shifts he needs in these rural Republican counties. These are the shifts he wants to see. The question is, can he keep it up in suburban Atlanta?
And is he seeing the turnout he needs in those rural counties? I mean, even if you're seeing the shifts,
it's been pretty robust. I think the problem with the turnout thing is we don't have any data from urban counties. So like we don't have a comparison point. Like we know turnout's down about like 6 to 10% in most of these counties. But I don't know like what the comparison point would be, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Chattahoochee comes in at 4.6% more Democratic than November. That's a very small military-based county, though, outside of Columbus. That's like 900 votes in.
Yeah.
And that actually sounds right. There were about 900 votes in right now. There were about 1,000 in November. So that lines up. That sounds
interestingly, the Times has dropped to a 0.6 Warnock victory.
Oh, yep. It was at 0.8. Now it's on a 0.6. So Chattahoochee comes in. Let's see if we have anything else here.
I wonder how much of that is just the metro, the Atlanta counties aren't coming in yet.
Well, the thing is, it needs to. So, like, I mean, I don't know, right? Like, you'd want to see a fully reported county in
Turner County. Did you talk about that one yet, Kraz? That's fully in South, kind of in that southeastern southern
I might have
Georgia.
missed it. Where is that one?
It's right. It's kind of just outside of Columbus, right, like in the smack dab middle of the southern part.
Yeah. Two more. So 2 more reporting now. And
Berrien and Turner both about a point more Republican than 2020. Than
both about a point more Republican. Again, rural South Georgia again.
That's actually probably what made the shift actually a little bit, maybe even more because of where those votes are.
I think that's probably what put the needle back up to. I do wonder what its projected margins are.
Estimated margins are Warnock +9 to Walker +7.
No, I mean like because okay, so one of the things, and I would never question the almighty needle, but I will say in November the needle was way over aggressive on Walker. Because for the particular reason that I think I mentioned this on the stream we were doing it, for the reason that it kept thinking Walker was going to do much better in suburbs than it was clear he was going to do. Like it kept thinking he would like exceed Trump's margin wildly in a lot of suburbs, and it was clear that was just not going to happen if you look at the counties that were fully reporting. So I wonder what it thinks the implied margin is in some of these suburban counties, because that is kind of telling. Like, for example, it thinks, if my math is right, let me do the math right now. It thinks that Warnock will win Cobb County roughly 154,000 votes to Walker's 22, like Walker's 118,000 votes. And if I can do the math on that very quickly, 272.5. Like it thinks Warnock wins Cobb by about 14%, if I'm doing my round numbers correctly. So it thinks that Walker is going to do better in Cobb County than he did in November by 3%. So is that correct? I don't know. I want to see a fully reporting suburban county, but that was the one reason the needle was very aggressive on Walker in November, is it kept thinking that he was going to do way better in the suburbs than he did. So I don't know.
Yeah. What you're saying is too early to say to fully trust the needle.
I don't think it's too early to necessarily trust the needle. I just think that you have to be aware that when they have the estimated votes remaining, it implies a certain margin in certain counties. And like that is an expectation baked into the needle, right? But like, you know, if you think Walker's gonna do better in Cobb County than in November, sure. But I don't know if I would buy that.
No, I don't know if I would buy that either.
Yeah.
Ooh, Trolton County. Tiny. I actually can't even find this on the map. Basically no shift. Bacon County comes in at 0.7% more Republican with a, but I can't see it on the turn. Oh yeah, it dropped a little bit in turnout, but not huge.
Schley County, right outside of Columbus, 2 points more Republican.
Oh yeah, seeing it.
What a name, Schley County. Schley. You Georgians have some weird ways to say your counties.
And you have too many of them.
Yes.
There are way too many, I gotta say.
There are far too many Georgia counties. You see all this like land in like around the Atlanta area. Like put some of those counties together.
Yes, please. God, merge some counties.
Or like there's like the weird ones that like Dade and Walker for some reason are like, just make that one county. Right? Like the very northwest part, like that's perfect little one county shape right there. Schley County. Good evening.
Who's up? Wait.
That beep, that was my echo. Sorry.
I figured that's why I was making the joke there. We are confirming that Seminole is not fully in, so that has been taken off the board.
Yeah, that was just wrong. I mean, that was just, like, clearly not all the way in.
Like, very blatantly wrong.
Yeah, that was wrong. I'm not seeing any more fully. Some of these counties too are just like they're so tiny on the map. I like can't even seem to find them.
So what I do sometimes is like I just like roll my mouse around on the map.
Yep. All right. Well, Lowndes County comes all the way in, which is like actually kind of interesting. I do think this is a very interesting county. It's 1.4% more Democratic than it was in November. So again, not like a big shift in either direction. But big thing about Lowndes County, it's a fairly big county and it holds Valdosta. So it does have like some suburbs, like some level of education, has Valdosta State University, which is pretty big. And its turnout dropped 14 full percent. And they got more Democratic. So you know how in the early vote we were talking about how the main areas lagging were not the rural GOP votes, but the ex-urban GOP votes, the places where Walker really underperformed Kemp. Well, if you want to know what the underperformance was here, and I don't know exactly what it is, but in Lowndes, Walker did underperform Kemp by a solid 6 points. So not huge, but bigger than the rest of South Georgia. So I do wonder if maybe this is slightly indicative of what we might see later.
Ooh, some. Time is saying Johnson County is fully in, and it's 5% more Democratic.
Okay, so now Johnson County might actually be fully in, so we can actually do some analysis. Very robust turnout though in this county, like 99.5% of the November turnout, which is interesting.
That's interesting.
I don't know what's in Johnson that would be of note. I mean, I can look, but yeah, I mean, okay, so that's like that's a shift for Warnock, but like,
yeah.
I do wonder what it thinks he's going to get. Like, what does it think he's going to get in Forsyth? I'm actually curious about this.
Can you look that up? Like, where would you find it?
No, I know. New York Times thinks Walker is going to win Forsyth County, 70-30. And he only won it 65-32 in November. So again, it's baking in some pretty
it's baking in some like very interesting exurban results.
Yeah, that's kind of the one thing I do think is that it's baking in some extremely aggressive suburban and exurban numbers for Walker. Like 70-30 would be in line with what Kemp got there in November. So I'm a little bit skeptical on that.
Yeah. See, it's on election nights where we need to be playing Civ or Hearts of Iron.
Yeah.
I put out a tweet that said I'm kind of I gave like a couple of side eyes for where the election day vote was coming in, because I was like, oh, he's kind of holding his own. This could end up close, very close compared to what we were expecting, and people are just calling it cope online for some reason.
No, I don't think so. I think that the actual shifts are like, I do think the actual shifts are in line with what Walker would need. I do think, though, that if you trust that the needle has relatively accurate like expectations overall, it's getting those pretty good results for Walker, but it still thinks Warnock wins, and that's with extremely aggressive, I think, suburban and exurban margins baked in for Walker here. So I do think that I would probably rather be Warnock right now, but it's not totally clear to me. Webster comes in 1.9% more Democratic, another small rural-ish county in South Georgia.
All right.
Yeah, the needle has Warnock winning by 0.7 right now.
Yeah. It's also the estimated margin has shifted a little bit less for him. It was Warnock +8 to Walker +7. It's now Warnock +9 to Walker +7. It is now Warnock +8 to Walker +7, according to the needle.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Wayne County, all in, 0.4% more Democratic. Tiny in South Georgia. These, I just want to be clear to the viewers, by the way. In some of these South Georgia counties, we're talking about rounding errors in terms of like shifts.
Yeah,
like a 0.4% shift in Wayne County is like there's like not even 10,000 votes there. Like that would be the equivalent of like less than 40 votes going either way, right? Like less than a 40 vote change in the margin. Like that is not significant. Like do not actually pay attention to that. What you just have to know is that in rural South Georgia, generally it is essentially even. Like it may be a slight shift to Walker, but we're talking about like basically even. Like, apart from like Eccles and Miller, there, which are bigger shifts to Walker. But like, back to Warnock +0.6 on the needle. Something came in. Glenn comes in at, well, that wouldn't do it because that's 4.7% more Democratic than November. That's a big shift in Glenn, which is a pretty big county in South Georgia. So it wasn't that. But it was
something shifted the needle.
Yeah, something shifted the needle. I don't know what though.
I think some parts of Northwest Georgia started to come in.
Newton County early vote came in, but that's very dumb. I wouldn't do it either. Columbia County early vote, I wouldn't do it. Right? I don't know the numbers for that. Oh no, yeah, I do. Wow, it's way more Democratic in November. I wouldn't do it. All right, I know what it is. Sorry,
something made it shift though. We don't know.
Yeah, something made it shift a little bit. I can't tell you what. Yeah, Glenn's a pretty good result for Warnock, and I guess you would like it if you're him because maybe it's more indicative of some of the more suburban Atlanta areas. Glenn has a little bit higher, like it's a little bit more Democratic and maybe has a little higher rate of education. I don't know for sure though, but I do wish the New York Times didn't make the shift, like the arrow, like just show me the county and like color it in.
Yeah, exactly.
The shift. Like I don't want to go searching for the tiny little arrows. Okay. I like hunting for fully reported counties.
Glenn County turnout was down 12%.
Yeah, so this is another thing I think is important to point out is Glenn is another place where you think there are probably a few more like college-educated Republicans than in rural South Georgia. It was a place where Walker actually underperformed Brian Kemp, by 8%, which is a lot more than the other parts of South Georgia. So again, if turnout's dropping in places where there were a lot of college-educated Republicans that didn't like Walker very much, Glenn, Lowndes, like those are the places that are dropping. Although we do know, and I will say, like, we do know that turnout in Forsyth was very robust based on what we know about election day today. Oconee, big one. Oconee is all in. Oconee is the most college-educated county in Georgia. Turnout dropped 10%, so a decent drop in turnout. Herschel Walker wins it by 34%. What did he win it by in November?
34%.
35%. Well, according to Times, what do we got on the shift?
Rounding errors.
Less than 0.1% more Democratic. It's the rounding that does it on there, but less than 0.1% more Democratic. So an incredibly even shift in Georgia's most educated county. And they took Glenn off the board. Glenn was not correct.
Glenn's off the board?
Yep.
All right. Oh, something shifted. Needle's now saying Warnock plus 1.1.
Yeah, I wonder.
Forsyth early vote, I would bet, because I'm guessing the Needle did not think that was as fertile for.
Yeah, I wonder what came in that did that. Let me see. Well, okay, so I should clarify. Glenn's off the board, but Glenn wasn't entirely incorrect. It's just there's 93% instead of 95%. And the Needle does think the remaining vote is probably relatively
same thing with Lowndes. Lowndes is now 94% as too.
Yeah. So in fairness, the Needle does think it's probably a pretty favorable election day vote for Walker in both those counties, but it's like very few. I think it's probably very few votes in both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what came in. Forsyth early vote plus 28. I mean, it was plus 35 in November. Let's see. Yeah, Oconee is an interesting one because that's Georgia's most educated county. Yeah, I wish I had checked what the Needle thought Oconee was going to be before it came in, because that might have been it. That might have been what shifted the Needle, because Oconee did not shift at all from November. And if the Needle was baking in a shift to Walker from November, then that might have been it. I think Rabashkin has it wrong. Oh wow, big shift to Warnock.
Oh yeah, wow.
What drop? I want to make sure it's not a reporting error. Remember in November when we thought Walker was going to win because they dropped a bunch of a bunch of fake votes in Paulding County.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I want to make sure. I don't know what just came in, but I want to be careful here. Because I don't see any fully reporting counties that would be particularly
Decision Desk has 16,000 fewer votes for Warnock.
Oh, that might it might be a reporting error here.
But they've got about the same. They've got 17,000 left for Walker though, so that just might be counties.
Fair enough. I actually didn't even look at Walker.
Yeah, I wonder what happened though. That's why I'm trying to find if there's a county or something we're missing here. Randolph County came in 4% more Democratic, but that's like a small county in South Georgia. That wouldn't do it. Jenkins came in 2.5% more Democratic, but another small county in South Georgia. Yeah, I don't see what would have come in unless
they're like changing like results on the fly here.
They could be readjusting their margins. If they started to readjust based on like suburban, maybe it was a drop in Paulding that wasn't very good for Walker. They might be readjusting their suburban expectations potentially.
Yeah, it might have been that drop in Paulding that wasn't that great.
Yeah, I wonder if that's and that might be it. Let me see. Yeah, because a lot of these rural South Georgia counties are in, and they're all just like not even statistically significant shifts. Big drop somewhere for Warnock. Someone give me a fully reporting like Atlanta County. The thing is, there's none of DeKalb. They dropped like the May, but like there's none of the actual like in-person early vote is in. Like
when you have this many counties, you need to have like a legend almost. You need to have a way to easily search.
Wait, okay. All right, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, you did just see the Cohen tweet.
I did just see it. Basically, he's saying the model is more confident because, like what I said, the suburban counties that are coming in are not delivering the election day margins that the needle expects, so they're not as relevant as the needle expects.
Right. Okay, so this is becoming more in line with expectation.
In the suburban counties, a little bit. Although I would want to say that a shift in Oconee, or like a basically no shift in Oconee would be excuse me, wouldn't be a blowout in any sense. For Warnock, it's just that, again, if you trust that the needle is generally pretty accurate at projecting out what's going to happen based on completed results, and basically like whatever, and basically it is overestimating the actual results in suburbs, then yeah, that's good for Warnock.
Oh, another big jump for Warnock in the needle.
Oh wow, back to 2.4.
Yeah, wow, okay.
What just came in?
I don't know.
As far as I can tell, nothing.
I bet something did.
The margin didn't change on the.
Yeah.
Oh, it thinks Upson County came. No, Upson is not in. hate when they think it's fully reporting. And like they think Upson County is fully reporting. It's not. It'd be a 25% drop in turnout. It'd be the biggest in the state. Okay, now maybe this is it. Glenn is all in, and it's a shift towards Warnock. That would make more sense to me.
That would probably do it. Yep.
That would make more sense to me, given what its demographics are compared to some of the other counties.
Yeah.
Now just going to be a slow roll.
All I want for Christmas, it is Christmas time. All I want for Christmas is one fully reported Metro Atlanta County.
Is that it? I think I can get that to you by the end of the night.
That, and I want a good grade on my commercial and bankruptcy law final. Those are the two things.
There you go. That sounds nice.
Hey, all I want is an A- in
Zippro.
torts.
Oh.
It's my best class, so
We don't
All right,
know
well,
that
there you
when
go.
you take the exam.
what? Well, I
we
got
don't know
I
that.
got 2 midterms, so
Oh, that's fine.
got a county flip to Warnock. Okay.
Yes.
Baldwin,
Request
yeah,
to the
Baldwin
chat.
County.
Request to the chat. When you give us a county, tell us where it is, because I can't find it. Tell us what position on the map it is.
Yeah, where is probably just outside of Macon.
Okay.
I mean, this is already like a super narrow Walker County. It's just now a like an even more narrow.
Yeah, it's very
It quite literally. We joke about the rounding errors, but quite literally rounding error.
rounding area.
Number 0.8 shift to Warnock, so it went from 0.7 for Walker to like 0.2 for Warnock. We got it, guys. Thank you. We found it.
Thanks,
Wait,
y'all.
what are we looking for?
The
Baldwin
county.
Oh,
County.
Baldwin. Yeah, I saw Baldwin a while ago. It's a tiny shift though. It's like a 0.8% shift. It's like not actually. It's a county flip, but it's not actually.
I don't know.
So it's not like
Like-
some of the ones we were seeing from last time where they were like Purdue plus 3 counties going to like Ossoff plus like 3.
Yeah, that was a bigger deal.
That was also the difference between Georgia not being super competitive and now it's got 2 Democratic senators.
Time to be alive and all that.
Time to be alive.
Yeah, like I think it's still, the needle is still a little bit aggressive. Like it thinks Walker's going to win Forsyth 67-33, which would be like again an improvement from November. So I mean, I'm trying to like look at some other suburban counties to see like what it thinks the results are going to be.
I like that we still have only like 5% of DeKalb.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
know.
Yeah, that's just like a ticking time bomb waiting to drop right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think also one thing that probably happened with the needle, if you look at the Metro Atlanta counties where we have a lot of early vote in, the model now thinks that Warnock is going to improve from November in those counties. So what that points to me is that something
That's probably why we've seen the needle shift so much.
Yeah, that might be why too in some of the more recently reporting Atlanta counties.
Yeah, and it looks like the needle still has room to shift.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting that like they were basically, because according to Coma was basically like that Warnock was basically doing as they were expecting the early vote, which is interesting to me. And then like, but the election day vote is just not where Walker
needs it to be.
Yeah. Which was the narrative coming into the night. So we've changed nothing.
Yeah, I mean that's what we said, right?
That's just the honest answer there.
Yeah, I mean, It's nice to have a no drama election night, and so far this seems to be right in line with expectations.
Another fully reported county, Jasper, gets 1.3% more Republican. Small rural county in central Georgia.
The needle keeps shifting. It's up to 2.5 for Warnock.
Apparently, according to people on Twitter as well, the needle now believes that Fayette County will go to like Walker to Warnock by like a point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that might be it. I think the Metro Atlanta numbers are just not good enough for, like, are not what Walker wants to see.
Oh my gosh, what a surprise.
Wait, you're telling me that Herschel Walker isn't doing well in the Atlanta Metro?
Oh my gosh.
I will say, like, I will say though, like, wasn't the conventional wisdom before his debacle of a campaign, wasn't it like, oh guys, you don't get it, man. He was a star at UGA. He's gonna do great in the Atlanta suburbs. Like, you don't get it. Like, all these people worship him or something like that.
That was also the argument for Oz. Oh, he's a TV host. He's gonna do great with suburban wine moms.
Well, no one actually serious bought into that in Pennsylvania.
Oh. Yeah, the needle is still on plus 2.5, but it's getting more, like, the range of outcomes is narrowing.
Yeah.
As the night goes on.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I want one fully completed county. One in Metro.
I can give you DeKalb at 5%.
No.
Yeah. That's the best I can do.
Guys?
What is the question in the chat? What is the next Georgia or Arizona? Way too early to say.
Utah, maybe.
Kansas, maybe.
I actually think Utah before Kansas.
Yeah.
Utah is just weird.
So the thing with Utah is thinking about this, it's insanely highly educated. And
it's also
Utah
super religious.
So yes, but non-Mormons in Utah are an extremely democratic group because they are predominantly ex-Mormons. So people who were raised in the Mormon church are highly educated and then left the Mormon church. And highly educated, irreligious white people are an extremely democratic group. Mm-hmm. And that's predominantly non-Mormons in Utah. And that group, non-Mormons in Utah, is growing very quickly. The church has continues to lose members. So if you're looking at a state where you could see really shocking shifts really fast, that is probably one you would
also there are hippies. It's like Colorado. There are hippies moving there
hippies are flooding the zone, and it's like they better not legalize weed, or else it's going to be like, it's a shorter drive than Colorado from California. They're going to be overrun soon.
Well, don't worry. They shut down that safe banking amendment in the NDAA. So
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. I'm kind of with Kraz. I like Utah more than I think, because Wichita still is, like, for the most part, like, still relative. Like Sedgwick County is still relatively Republican enough for key races that it's not like killer yet, and still like what's the word I'm looking for? Like what's the second district around Lawrence and all that, and until that shit like really starts to get close without Laura Kelly.
I would
I'm
agree
not-
with that. I think I ran the numbers on Kansas. Democrats can get very close, but I think with the current population distributions, they still need improvements in rurals. Like
Ooh.
what?
For the first time in a while, Needle shifts back to Walker.
Interesting. I wonder what
It's
came
from
in.
Warnock 2.5 to Warnock. They're very small, like Warnock 2.5 to
And
Warnock 2.3, but that is a shift. Just wondering, like, what
But
brought
win
that on.
percentage likelihood has not gone down.
No.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no, it has. It's gone down to it's expected more, and it's 78 to. Maybe this is just like a narrowing of the. Just wondering what changed there. I don't know what changed. That's all I'm saying. I just don't know what like changed there specifically.
Carroll
make that
County
happen.
left of Atlanta.
What?
Carroll County? Is that what they said?
Somebody in the chat, Carroll County, 70-30 for Walker.
It's not. Times doesn't have that fully in yet.
No, 92%.
Yeah.
Oh, Gordon, 3% shift towards Walker. That's in rural North Georgia. So
Well,
that's a
that would be a difference from last time.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big county too. That's 17,000 votes.
Yeah, that would be a difference from last time, considering what those people were how they were doing last time in these runoffs.
I will say, I mean, I need to see turnout from urban Atlanta, but like turnout across the state seems relatively even. Like it doesn't appear to me that there's like a ton of drop. Like there's not really a pattern in dropping turnout. If that makes sense.
It's between like 6.5 to like 9.5.
Yeah, it's not
Basically.
like you don't see a lot of pattern so far.
We are officially at the point where the reported margin is at a lesser margin than the expected margin is on the Needle.
Yeah, I was getting very confused. I thought the Needle had dropped to Warnock plus 1.8, and I was like, "What happened? What came in?" But it was
It's just the usual stuff, Kraz. The rurals are starting to fully report, and the Atlanta suburbs are still stuck at blah 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 percent. So, it's kind of where we're at. But this is, I mean, Warnock's going to win this by. I mean, I would like to see like actual numbers in from.
Well, I think the Needle has it right where I expect it now, because the Needle now has, I think, appropriately expected suburban margins. Like when I do the math on what they think the remaining votes are, that seems to be basically what I would expect. Oh wow, the estimated margin dropped to Warnock plus 1.2.
Whoa, what the hell?
What came in? What?
There was a 0.2% shift on the top line.
What
the
came
hell?
in?
I don't know.
Mr. Cone, please,
Mr. Cone. No, that's
Mr. Cone, please drop a tweet.
What's going on? Hey, buddy, that's like a massive shift. What the fuck?
Someone said Carroll is 70-30. I wonder what that was in November. 69-29. So it'd be the same margin, although it's not all the way in, so I'm not gonna comment.
Yeah. I mean 92%.
Mr. Cone. What the hell, buddy?
Wait, what? I can't see what changed.
Yeah, what?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't know. Cone's gonna have to tweet about it because I don't see anything. I didn't see anything change. So
if Warnock only wins by 1, I think Republicans are going to be kicking themselves for
not investing in the
basically triaging this.
Oh, Rockdale came all the way in, and it's 2.8%. more Democratic than in November.
But okay, so why would that?
But why did the needle shift?
Yeah, why
Well,
would
Hey!
okay. The needle might have been expecting a bigger shift. I don't think that's right because that is 3% better for Warnock, and the turnout is right in line with the rest of the state in Rockdale. Like, there's not like a big turnout drop or anything. So I'm a little bit confused why that would do it. To be perfectly honest, I'll just wait for Cohn to tweet about it because I don't see anything that would.
Mr. Cohn, we're all very confused. Please help. I always makes me chuckle that you have like Athens as this like blue bubble in Clark County in like the middle of northeastern Georgia, and then you've got it's like 76-24 right now, 76% of the vote in, and you've got like these like deep red Jackson and Madison counties that are like similar numbers right now, and it's like it's the incredible ability of college towns just like staying formed together, like they just shrink in on each other, they don't expand at all in these like when they're people's republics, because this is that's my joke about like weirdly placed college towns is that
the needle just jumped again.
Now it's a toss up
with literally no vote shift.
What the hell?
Nate!
Honestly, just rename this to Needle Watch.
Needle Watch.
Needle Watch
toss it. I mean, it has Warnock plus 0.8. I don't know what. Well, someone.
Okay.
What
From Mr.
happened?
Reutenberg, who's probably following Twitter closer than us right now.
Yeah.
Someone thinks there are more votes in Cherokee than expected, which shifted the needle to Walker.
Okay,
that would explain things a little bit.
A little bit, but that wouldn't be a 1.5%.
That wouldn't be like the 1.3 net. What? Yeah, it would be like the 1.3, like the back to 0.8 that we.
Yeah. What does it think? Okay, wait, sorry. I need to figure out what it thinks. So 117,000 votes in Cherokee in November. It thinks there are 43 plus. No, that's about right. It thinks that there's about a fairly reasonable number of votes in Cherokee.
Mr. Walker has taken the lead for the first time.
I don't know what came in, but
something came in, but it's pushed him ahead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it thinks there. I can't tell.
I wonder, Paul, what was Paulding's margin in? Excuse me, in
Walker
in
just
November?
went into the lead.
What?
What was Paulding's margin in 20?
They took down the needle. They took down the needle, guys.
Needle taken down.
Sorry,
there it goes.
Paulding was Walker plus 24 in November.
Okay, so he's at plus 22 right now.
Yeah,
61.30. I mean, that's round. I don't know what times rounding would do on that, but
I don't know either. So like.
Check DDHQ because they have.
I think New York Times.
Times is way further ahead on Paulding than
DDHQ. Yeah, well, another one is Dawson, which is a North Georgia. I would not call it an exurb. I would call it more of like a rural county, but it's a 3.5% shift towards Walker. I'm trying to see what the biggest counties. Yeah, I mean, Gordon. Yeah, so Gordon got a big shift for Walker, but the biggest counties are not getting shifts for Walker. So that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm dubious. Also, the needle is trending on Twitter.
Hooray for the needle.
Hooray for the needle.
God bless the needle.
Someone needle got old yellered. I think,
oh dear. Oh no.
Jesus.
I wonder if it was having
that seems unnecessarily violent.
Okay, I wonder if it was having issues because it shifted from plus 2.5 to plus 0.8 with like almost no, like the amount of votes that were coming in should not have been enough to shift it that much. So that's why I think all of us were like, what's coming in? That's like.
Well, and New York Times has Walker up now.
Well, yeah, but that, like, that's kind of, I mean, not meaningless.
Yeah.
kind of
No.
meaningless. Like we've all been watching elections long enough to know that.
Yeah, that's basically meaningless.
Yeah, it's not super meaningful. Okay. Again, okay. So to be clear, just for everyone watching, there's been a bunch of fully reported counties in South Georgia now, and it's the same story. They're all within a rounding error for the most part. Not a lot of really usable data there. So I wouldn't be doing changing there. We're really just waiting on Atlanta now.
Where every county is going to be fully reported in except DeKalb, still at 5%.
Yeah, so Walker does better than November in Habersham County, which is rural North Georgia. So I think what Wasserman has pointed out on Twitter, which is kind of interesting, is that Walker is hitting his numbers in mostly like rural, especially rural North Georgia. Like he has hit his numbers in a lot of these places. The problem is he's not hitting them in the limited sample, I would say, of urban counties and suburban counties that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, people are tweeting, but I feel like we're just like waiting for DeKalb.
Somebody send in the mules.
Where's the mules?
Yeah, where are the mules?
Where are the mules?
Also, yeah, New York Times says the needle is down while they investigate a data issue.
What type of data issue?
Yeah.
Where's the data issue coming from?
It's coming from inside the house.
Burke County comes in pretty good for Warnock, 2 points more Democratic. That's like a swingy rural county. And I hate my life. Washington is going to be won by Raphael Warnock. The early reports of being fully reporting were incorrect, apparently. They had not dropped their mail-in ballots.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's actually going to be a shift towards Warnock, 2.6%. Coffee County shifts. So, I mean, look, I do think Warnock is getting the shifts he would need. It's just that he needs to really hope that, and then now Chattooga County shifts towards Walker. Like, Walker is getting big shifts in rural North Georgia. Big is a relative term here, but like the shifts he would need in rural North Georgia. The question is just, are these numbers able to be kept up in the Atlantic counties?
Yeah.
The thing is, where this could like maybe, and I say this with like very much question, I say maybe, is if the northern shifts of like 2.5 to 3 points are the same in Cherokee and Forsyth.
Right.
Because like if he does that, then maybe we have something interesting.
Yeah,
and even that's only like a maybe.
Yeah, he needs to hope
that's still like highly questionable.
He needs to hope these shifts in North Georgia are like indicative of broader shifts in like Forsyth and Cherokee.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, nobody has said what the data issue is yet, by the way, which is like kind of funny. Like it just says it's down for a data issue.
Yeah. Where is the data issue from, Mr. Cone? Where are we having the data issue?
Probably the data issue that caused it to go from plus 2.3 for Warnock to 0.8 for Warnock without any votes.
I wonder if the biggest troll would be like if it came back and it was like Walker plus 0.5 on the needle. Like it's like, sorry, our estimates were too aggressive for Warnock.
I mean, if it came back plus 0.5 for Walker, I think we'd all go, Nate, there's another data issue.
I mean, the
Hey,
county
buddy.
are a pretty mixed bag right now. I don't think you really draw too many conclusions right now, but yeah, I mean, Walker's got to hope that Dawson County shift, which is like north of Forsyth, is indicative of Forsyth and not just another rural county shift.
Yeah, just not rural counties being weird again.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. I think some more votes just dropped. I don't know. I can't tell where votes are dropping from at this point.
It's like very weird right now to see Walker with the 2-point lead, I have to say.
Yeah, that's just strange.
Richmond is at 73-27 Warnock with like 82% in.
I don't think that. There's got to have a bunch of election day out, right? Like,
you would think. And if not, then DeKalb is going to be very, very painful for Mr. Walker.
Yeah, some more black belt counties coming in, and they're basically all like, I mean, roughly, if you look at a lot of these black belt counties east of Macon, you're looking at like 2-point shifts to Warnock. Nothing huge, but at least it's a sign that for him that, rural black.
He's going to almost probably win tonight, but
I assume so. But like, I just like, we don't have really any data to like.
Like Dawson County at like 3.6 points more Republican. If like that's what happened in like Forsyth or Cherokee, then like maybe something fucky will happen.
Well, that's like, it's like Dawson and Rockdale right now, right? Because Rockdale is sitting at plus 2.8 and Dawson's sitting at
plus 3, like same margin basically.
Although Dawson did drop like 12% in turnout, which would be the biggest in the state so far, I think.
1 point shift to Warnock, not from DeKalb.
From where?
I don't.
I think might have been Douglas because Douglas is up to 88 now.
Oh yeah, maybe Douglas.
And Cobb. No, it was Cobb. Cobb went up to 54% reporting.
Oh, Cobb finally dropped. Cobb
65-35 in Cobb. So
Cobb finally dropped all its early votes.
Yeah, so that's what that was.
That's what
it was. And I think Fulton might have dropped some election day vote because it's up to 55%.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like what Douglas plus 34 in November. It was plus 32 for Warnock, so that'd be pretty in line with what we would expect.
Yeah, that's Cobb. Yeah, that was Cobb. Finally, thank you, Cobb, for being competent in your election reporting. We appreciate it. Yeah, everyone applaud for that. Everyone applaud. Everyone clap. We're like pound a table or something. Who knows? Do what you got to do.
I will say that I do think North Georgia is where Walker's holding up best, but it is seeing the biggest drops in turnout.
Oh my gosh, not again.
Not again.
Wait, are you telling me that North Georgia still doesn't like runoffs?
But that is actually kind of I will say Carroll County apparently is now complete, and it's essentially the same. It's 0.3% more Democratic than November. That's an exurban Atlanta County. That's an interesting one to watch. Another batch of votes for Walker, but I don't know from where. I do think the one kind of worrying thing for Walker at this point, because we're getting late enough tonight to say this, is that when you look at fully completed counties, It's a lot of the Republican counties in the state. Like if you look at the fully reported map on New York Times, like
Yeah, it's so. Oh my God, the rurals reported first, Kraz.
I'm just saying that,
Oh
like,
my God.
if you look at the counties that have a lot of remaining vote out, I'd bet they lean Democratic if I had to give a guess.
Are you telling me the big cities are slow to report?
Like what's kind of troubling, I think, for Walker is he's about to lose. I mean, if my math is about right, he's about to drop he's about to lose 170,000 vote margin in DeKalb when it all drops, which is like he's only up by 38,000. So,
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
okay, Walker's lead continues to grow. I don't know where the votes are coming in from, though. I
The
assume
weird
it's
thing
counties.
is, like, there's still 2 like northern counties that are like not reporting yet.
Georgia's just weird.
Georgia is counting weird tonight. Georgia, I am not appreciating you, Georgia. You are counting very weirdly tonight.
Did y'all see
that's
the
kind of-
populism updates tweet in the group chat?
Oh, that was very funny.
That was very yes. Yes. That was very good. That was very good.
I just think it's funny that like the needle just constantly had like it actually went pretty well in November, but like it always has data errors. Like it's when it's on, it's rock solid, but it's very sensitive. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's always at
Mr.
least
Cohn,
once an election night.
is the
It's
data
off.
error fixed yet?
Mr. Cohn. No, because like that's the problem. Like, it's remarkably accurate, but it's extremely sensitive to not getting the right data, and that's the problem. Is that if it doesn't get the exact right data, it like doesn't know what to do. Yeah, so Camden County, another like moderately right coastal county, comes in. Another shift to Warnock. I mean, Wasserman is like very aggressive on Warnock right now, which like is kind of interesting because like I wouldn't be that aggressive on him right now. Yeah, Peach County.
Yeah, I would be hesitant on being aggressive on Warnock right now.
I would not be super aggressive. I think where's Peach County? I think it's the one. Oh God, I don't know.
I mean, I do think Warnock wins, but
Peach County. Someone on Twitter is saying Peach County is essentially count complete, which would be like mildly interesting. I can't find it though.
it is funny that Warnock has had the benefit of going up against 2 really bad candidates.
Well, Walker, I don't really get what the hype around Walker was the whole time.
Because he was football man, Kraz.
Okay,
Remember
like,
the national title? Remember
okay,
the
but here's the
Heisman,
thing.
Kraz? The Heisman, the national title.
In fairness,
Kraz, Ronald Reagan was a celebrity.
Tom Osborne, who was like the legendary Nebraska coach back in the day, he lost a Republican primary for governor in Nebraska in 2006, I think. And like that guy was a legend in Nebraska, right? And he lost that prime. Like I'm just saying that I think that the celebrity status stuff I think is very useful in terms of like you don't need to like get your name recognition up. You don't need to like don't need to get your fundraising off the ground. Like you have that there.
Just what's just south of Macon, y'all?
Oh, Peach. I was asking where Peach was. I thought. How did I miss that one? Okay.
So because there are 130 counties.
Thank you for validating me. Yeah, I mean it's like 0.5% more Democratic, but who cares? I mean, apparently, according to Eli on Twitter, there's like something like probably some absentees left, so maybe it moves the needle a little bit towards Warnock.
Celebrity Mike Lindell for RNC chair. Sure, why not?
Yeah, no. Honest to God, if that happened, I would probably just leave the party at that point. I would just that would be it. That would be it for me. That would be the point of no return right there. That would be it.
Let's make Joe a Democrat, everybody.
No, that wouldn't happen either. Joe would just be lonely independent man.
Okay, wait. I'm not seeing much else coming in right now. I just want wait.
Oh, did DeKalb come in? Because Warnock just went up 2%. DeKalb has come in.
DeKalb, the bomb
Oh
has
my
dropped.
God.
It only dropped 40% of its votes. So
Quite a lot to go here.
Quite a lot to
92
go.
to 8.
Jesus Christ.
I will say that given what's out in Atlanta, like Walker is kind of increasingly running out of runway in rural Georgia.
Yeah. There's only one county left in northern Georgia that hasn't even started reporting.
Thing is, I mean, that drops. That's a pretty bad drop for Walker. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say it's not that bad because it wasn't like that many votes, but it's a pretty bad drop. Like that's like
it was a 3-point shift.
Yeah, if you do the math out here, you're looking at like oof, that's a lot of votes in DeKalb. You're looking at a lot of votes out in DeKalb if the New York Times is correct. Oh, more votes just dropped. Looks like a decentish number, but I can't tell from where. I think Cherokee is starting to slowly report its election day votes.
I don't know. I leave the math to you.
Slowly reporting its election day votes, as far as I can tell. Okie dokie. Yeah, so North Georgia, I mean, so some more counties came in, count complete in North Georgia. The problem is for Walker, he's getting like 1 or 2 point shifts in all of them, which is like solid for him. The problem is they're all dropping double digits in turnout right now.
Oh my God, it's happened again. God damn it. It's quite truly happened again.
But what's happened again? I'm sorry, what happened again?
The double-digit drops in turnout in the northern part of the state.
Okay, so
at the very least, like the shifts are going towards Walker this time. Last time they were like legitimate shifts towards like
which has
Warnock and Ossoff last time.
Whitfield, which has Dalton County, actually is going to shift 2% towards Walker, but it dropped 13% in turnout, which is way more than like the rest.
Most like the average that we've seen tonight.
Yeah. So like this is the kind of thing where it's like, I mean, this was the trade the GOP made in Georgia, right? They traded a bunch of those suburbanites for a lot of those rural Georgia voters, especially in North Georgia. And like,
and that's gone exceedingly well.
Yeah, exceedingly well for that. No, but what I actually think that like the shifts in North Georgia are pretty impressive for Walker. The problem is they're not enough on their own and they're not being replicated elsewhere. And the turnout drops are massive. Like they're double-digit turnout drops across North Georgia versus more like 6 to 9% in South Georgia. So that's why I'm like, that's not super hot for him.
We're about 70% of the vote in. It's 50. It's 0.5% between Warnock and Walker right now, basically.
It does not feel like we're 70% of the way through this.
Yeah, I know.
This is according to the projections, but
I know.
A lot of these, like Kraz said, a lot of these rural counties are starting to be fully done. So Augusta with 93% in is 71-29.
That would be actually a 4-point shift. That would be a 4-point shift towards Warnock. So that would be what he wants to see if we're trying to get a proxy for for the metro Atlanta counties that are out because Richmond County, which is Augusta, is not that demographically different from a lot of.
No, but there's still that extra like 9% to come in, so we'll see.
Right. I mean, yeah, obviously.
Could we get more DeKalb, please?
Yeah, so the turnout differential, at least according to this tweet I'm seeing, is not that dramatic. Red versus blue counties. It's 91.2% of the November vote in blue counties and 90.2% in the red counties, which is not a huge difference. But you want to know where all that difference is, where it does exist? It exists in those North Georgia counties that are dropping double digits in turnout right now.
But I mean, like we said at the start, those small differences are really all Warnock needs.
Yes, because he won by 0.9%. So
yeah. So if he's doing 1% better, well, that looks good for him.
Yep. What do the betting markets have it at?
I'm sure you could have made some good money on Mr. Walker like an hour ago.
96.
I'm kind of kicking myself.
Warnock on Predict It.
Really?
I
thought, they've learned.
Back in November, I really thought that Carrie Lake was a steal. Like she was at like 60 cents to win. Thought that was a steal.
Dade County, that most northwestern county in Georgia, has reported it is 2.7 points to the right. Pickens is also
there we go. And they dumped all their votes at once. So
yes,
love that.
11% drop in turnout though.
God damn it!
Yeah, Marguerite Taylor's Green District is just not showing up like the rest of the state.
Again,
Again,
Marge.
Oh, Early County is kind of funny. 4.6% more Democratic than November. Yeah, I mean, I just think as more and more counties start to come in, I mean, I just think a lot of these rural counties are in.
Yeah, Walker's run, like you said, when the DeKalb drop happened, Walker's just running out of runway here.
That is one kind of issue here. Like if you look at the fully reported counties, like there are a lot of really heavy Walker counties in here right now.
And Gwinnett, Fulton, DeKalb, all at about half reporting, and those are all going to be big drops for Warnock.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, this would be kind of I wonder, do we think Loeffler is going to run against Ossoff, by the way, in 2020? What is that?
She's setting herself up for something. I don't know what that something is. But it's something.
I think, hot take. I think trying to remake herself as like a suburban Republican, right?
That's going to be really difficult.
I actually don't know.
I don't think it's that difficult. I think that she could do it, but I think that the problem for the GOP in Georgia now is like that's not their base anymore, right? Like even Brad Raffensperger got crushed in the Atlanta suburbs, right? Like that's just not their base anymore, and it certainly won't be their base 4 years from now, right? So I think Maybe they'll nominate like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know.
No, in all
Well, if she's not vice
likelihood,
president, don't forget if she wasn't the vice presidential nominee for Trump 2024.
no.
Oh God.
Look. I still
Hey,
stand by
who
it's the
would
side choice, but I
both
still
of you
think it'll
guys?
be
Because
Tulsi.
I know my answer to this question, but who would you hate more as a Trump 2020 vice presidential nominee? Would you hate Kari Lake more? Or would you hate Marjorie Taylor Greene more?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, Carrie Lake. What's your take, Joe?
Oh, I would hate Taylor Greene more because at least Lake can like somewhat pull up appearances on TV, even though she's still batshit crazy. Like Taylor Greene would probably say the N word on national TV somehow. Like
Look,
she would go
I
against Kamala
think,
Harris, and then she would say the N word.
well, I actually think it's funny because, like, I don't know if you follow Doug Mastriano on Twitter, but apparently Doug
Mastriano blocked me on Twitter. Chris.
Okay, he blocked you. But he was tweeting. Wait, he was tweeting yesterday about chemtrails in the sky.
Yes, I did see the screenshots. Yes,
he's a chemtrails guy. So,
that's entirely on brand, though.
oh, and he's like, and like, what is I don't even know what the conspiracy is. Someone's got to fill me in on this one.
I don't know. Like the chemtrails is like a pre-us conspiracy because that was a conspiracy when we were like still children.
No, that I've like heard about that one for like 20 years. Like that's like an old time.
I think the idea is that those streaks of air that you see when planes fly over are not just like, like smoke. Basically, it's like brainwashing chemical from the government to make us all like subservient.
A lot of those conspiracy theories really got decimated by the whole nobody was subservient during COVID deal.
Yeah, I also think like those conspiracy theories really lost out because they were all like the like hippie cranks who like thought that like Bush stole Ohio, who believed that shit, and then like they got polarized into being like I believe the scientists. So it's like all those ones fell away,
and they also lost a lot of steam when Obama didn't put people in FEMA camps.
Yeah, that was also
true. Yeah,
a tough look. Yeah,
how do we come back from this, y'all? He didn't take the guns and he didn't put us in camps. What do we do now?
Birth certificate.
I still think, going back to the VP thing, I think it's Tulsi. I think Tulsi is angling herself for the VP slot.
What are you guys talking about? It's going to be some elected representative between the Trump camp and the establishment camp if he wins the nomination. It's not going to be.
Have you seen Trump lately?
Yes. But okay,
he's meeting with Nick Fuentes and Kanye West.
Okay, here's my defense. Yes, Trump seems to have done some questionable things lately. Totally fair, but in the end, at every point in his runs and presidency, where he could have done something really, really totally insane, like kick Mike Pence off the ticket, he never actually does it. He always just like, eventually his advisors get to him to like not be a total moron about it. So like, like someone said, like Tara said, Joni Ernst, but like, like Kim
Here's
Reynolds.
The difference, though.
But like Kim Reynolds is the type of politician that he could pick, right? It's kind of between Midwestern, right? Okay, that's the kind of person he could pick.
Okay, but here's my rebuttal. Oh,
right.
Kraz froze. Oh, you're back. The sane advisors all left the building. And the Trump of 2017, 2018, who endorsed Luther Strange, is not the Donald Trump of early 2022 who endorses Dr. Oz and Blake Masters. I don't think President Trump endorses those two.
Did not like that.
Like I think there is it's not just a recent shift. This is a prolonged shift in how Trump has operated.
And I know people are always like, well, Trump's never been on message, but like there's like the thing is in 2015 and 2016 is like he actually had a message of like no trade deals, build wall.
The Trump of 2015
appoint Gorsuch. Basically, that was the 3-point talking point plan, and that worked.
Yeah, the Trump of 2015 was on a grievance tour against the Republican Party. The Trump of 2022 is on a grievance tour against the voters who didn't like him.
That's a problem.
That's not a winning strategy.
No, not particularly.
And I don't think that this is a Trump who can be corralled by McConnell and his advisors.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe. I won't say he can't be. I think there's a solid chance you're right. I just don't see it.
I'm just saying this. All I'm saying is that I think people like to fantasize about like, oh, he's going to pick Marjorie Taylor Greene, which like would be a kind of a disaster for his campaign. I do not think
I don't think he picks Greene either.
that he will pick her. I don't think he's picking Tulsi Gabbard. I think he's going to pick like Kim Reynolds, or he's going to pick like some kind of anti-establishment politician that stuck by him. Like,
Well, so the reason for Tulsi is both her leaving the Democratic Party. She was on his short list for Secretary of State in 2016. I believe I read in a few places that he met with her about being Secretary of State. She's
My
been
God,
active-
what an experience that would have been.
That would have been so interesting.
That would have been what a fucked thing that would have been.
hey, we would have been able to go to Syria, though. Just saying, we would have been able to vacation in Syria.
Yes.
Do you want to vacation in Syria? Is that like a place people would like want to go to?
Oh, by the way,
Has anything happened in Georgia? I haven't been watching.
Yeah, sorry. Richmond County, which has Augusta, came all in, and it's like plus 2 to 3% for Warnock versus November.
Why are people on Twitter telling us to grab nitroglycerin pills?
It's about the
Somebody has
Maryland. It's
played-
about the Maryland basketball game. Don't worry about it, Dylan.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was really confused.
Oh, did you see a Rothstein? Did he see a Rothstein tweet?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
in the
What?
group chat, Joe.
Oh my! Who put a Rothstein
Harris.
tweet in the? Krause, was that you?
No,
No,
it's Terrace.
no.
Terrace, oh.
All I'm saying is Maryland is the best basketball team in the country.
Y'all can argue over sports. I got nothing.
I gotta believe in George Mason. Go Patriots. We gotta go for the Patriots. We have hope and future. And
Maryland has had to play. They're going to play after this 4-game stretch. Their 4-game stretch is going to be, Illinois a couple days ago,
F.
Wisconsin,
F,
then UCLA
F.
and Tennessee coming up.
Jeez, that's
That's
a
a
quite
tough
a
stretch.
that's quite a rough. Who the hell made that schedule? That seems like quite a rough stretch right there.
But they are 8-0 right now. They are 8-0. 8-0.
Right.
Just saying.
I will lord over the Turtles' head that George Mason came into their place
All right, that was last year's Turtles. All right?
and
That was-
basically
that
killed Mark Turgeon's career, and that was funny.
That was
I
the
enjoyed
Mark
that.
Turgeon coached Terrapins.
Who's the coach now? Who is it?
Kevin Willard we got him from Seton Hall.
Oh,
I
that's
apologize
right. Yes.
I
And who-
apologize to all the nerds.
Did you guys
in
have
the
like
chat.
Danny Manning as like your like interim all of last year then?
Yeah, it was Manning.
Yeah. Oh.
I apologize to all the non-sports nerds in the chat. I had no idea what I was starting.
We get college. We're supporting our schools, Dylan. You
Yes.
go to Rutgers. You have to support Rutgers football and basketball now. It's just a thing you have to do.
I didn't know we had those two sports teams.
You are a Power 5 school,
I
Dylan.
will say,
You are a Big Ten school. You shouldn't be a Big Ten school, but you are. God damn it.
I will say for Walker, by the way, Pickens County, which is like north of Cherokee, came all in, and he did get a 4-point shift there in his direction.
Yeah, I thought I mentioned that. Did I not?
No, I don't think so. So like,
By the way, Walker was like, the people are saying like Walker probably had to hit like 69% of the total
Nice.
vote in Cherokee, and he's there with still 14% of the vote left.
yeah.
Um,
So that that could be good for him too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Also, hey Nate, where's the needle?
where's my
Mr. Khan. Mr. Khan.
That's why
Where
we
is the
started talking
needle?
about sports. We don't have the needle.
Apparently, I have disturbed my cat.
Don't worry, my cat
Thus-
looked.
thus is-
My
thus
cat
is the
looked at
thing
me
of
like I
being
had
home.
3 heads and left the room.
Continuing. I just want to get like more fully reported counties, to be honest.
We just Atlanta, please.
Oh wait, Paulding comes all in, and it is
62-38.
more Democratic than in November, so it's not much of a difference.
Okay. Yeah.
Point it, yeah. So yeah.
I wonder who Georgia Democrats run for governor in 26.
The thing is that like they ran like all their people this year, like Jen Jordan, like Bean Win, like everyone who's kind of considered like a rising star at the state level.
Mm-hmm.
Like they ran this year against all these incumbents, and then they all proceed to lose by like 5 to 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like you don't like who do you like? You gotta
Lucy
like hope
McBath.
like Lucy McBath or like decides to jump in or something, or else like the bench has been slightly limited by the attempts this year.
Stacey Abrams runs again.
I mean, like you could like there's I'm sure there's some like rando Atlanta, like
Yeah,
black
I
woman
mean,
who could run.
Ossoff was pretty rando Atlanta.
Yeah, and could win. Like I'm not going to
Ossoff-
deny that at all.
Ossoff
And Republic.
came
I
really
mean,
out of
like
nowhere.
the thing with Republicans is that because all of their incumbents like survived, like they do have like a bench
Right.
of some
I mean,
sort. Like Chris Carr is still there. If
Raffensperger.
Raffensperger wants to go higher, he's still there. They kept the lieutenant governor's job, so like Burt Jones, if he wants to run for promotion, he's there. So like that was kind of like the weird thing about like the Georgia like state level elections were like is that just
Right.
you know like the Republican bench is still there. So like yeah, that's what makes Georgia such an interesting state right now is that it is very clearly like due for like a blue bomb drop, but like all of its incumbents at the state level are still Republicans. So just by virtuoso, they have a deeper bench who could like still get crossover support. It's very weird. Very weird state Georgia right now. That's basically where we're at.
I do think okay, so Spalding, which is another ex-urban Atlanta county, came all in, and big vote dump somewhere for Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock somewhere came in. I'm trying to. Oh, DeKalb again.
And
Clayton.
Yeah,
Clayton was already in.
DeKalb still Walker in single digits.
Yeah. DeKalb is 64% in now. So
Spalding is essentially dead even from its November margin. That's another ex-urban Atlanta county, but again, turnout down 11% there. So I do want to see more. I mean, like, I kind of think where I'm at where I was like 45 minutes ago, which is like, I don't think the shifts by raw number are terrible for Walker. It's just that
it's not enough for him to win. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's kind of running out of runway with all these rural counties being so heavily in already. And then you just have like a shit. I mean, look what we just saw, right? Like we're going to get 2 more drops like that out of DeKalb, potentially. And we're going to get basically half the votes in Fulton. I mean, Warnock's going to double his margin out of Fulton and Cobb Gwinnett. And like, you know, I mean, right. I mean, so that's where I'm kind of at right now. Oh, Columbus all in.
Oh, that's recent. Okay.
3.3% towards Warnock.
Oh.
So that makes me start to think that these urban Atlanta counties are basically going to seal the.
Yeah, it's going to seal the deal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Walker's just. He's got to overcome a 30,000 vote lead, and then he's got to overcome 2 more drops like that. At least 2 more like that with Fulton and DeKalb.
Yeah, Clark
again.
County, which is Athens, is 3.5% more Democratic than November, and it's all in.
Yeah.
So that's another one with a lot of educated voters, obviously, and actually turnout's very robust in Clark, and turnout's very robust in Muskogee too. Oh, big drop somewhere.
Another one?
No, I mean it was for
More-
Walker. So
Yeah,
I was
for
thinking-
Walker.
but I can't tell where.
Yeah.
Heather, define close.
I think Wilkinson came in for him.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, that's only like 400 votes, though,
Yeah, it wouldn't be that.
plus for him. So there is something a little bit larger than that. But
Yeah, something I can't tell what though. Yeah, it's like that's not enough to move the needle there. What was Wilkinson shift? I'm actually kind of curious. Like,
Where is
nothing.
Wilkinson?
It's like not even showing up on the fucking. Oh no, 2.2% towards Warnock. I mean, like, I think when it's all said and done, someone joked on Twitter. They were like, "Did Warnock benefit in November from Marcus Flower coattails in North Georgia?" And it was like kind of as a joke, but I kind of wonder if him spending all that money did legitimately juice Warnock's margins a little bit in North Georgia and turn out to a certain extent.
Kraz, do not give the DNC any ideas.
No, I'm just saying, right?
Don't
Like,
do it.
you got this guy that has a ton of money. He's running against a candidate all Democrats hate, right? And now you're seeing the counties he was running in drop the most in turnout and shift the most towards Walker. It's not an impossible story. That,
Certainly not impossible, which is why I don't want you saying it.
That he got people, out to vote, you know. I think Walker. No, not back in the lead. I thought maybe he was. Although, are they behind? Am I behind? I'm gonna have to sign off in a minute, boys. But
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, we got.
I do think I'd say I would rather be Senator Warnock right now.
Oh wow.
What happened?
No, that was a sarcastic. Oh wow, for your predictions, Kraz.
Oh yeah,
I was
I'm making
being
a bold prediction here.
You bitch. Bold. I was just saying, what a bold prediction. All right. We're at 78% of votes in, according to the Times. Wow. 78 in like 2.5 hours is
Not
like not
bad.
bad for a sort of like a state of Georgia size. That is like not terrible. I have seen worse.
Is tonight a good or bad sign for the DNC moving up the Georgia presidential primary?
You know, I don't
I
have
mean-
a choice, right?
I mean, a good sign. I mean,
No, but
I
don't
think
have
they
a
probably
choice
should've.
because doesn't the state of Georgia set its primary dates? I'm confused by this debate.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware that the DNC couldn't move their dates until they
No, I don't
tried
think they
to.
can
And
because
yeah,
the state of Georgia sets it. All right, gentlemen, I have to sign off, but it's been
All
a
right.
good
Mr.
stream.
Krabs,
good night,
thank you
Chris.
for a great election season. Thank you very
Thank you. See
much.
you guys later.
We will be back, of course. Okay, well, of course, Krabs will be back. Dylan, I guess what we kind of have this time right now,
Yes.
2023. You will have a bit of a greater role in our ratings this time. I mean, you were certainly part of it this year. You were a vote on all of our seats, especially at the end when we were releasing our ratings. But you're going to have a bit of an expanded role in because as we go to just state level elections in 2023, we kind of divvy them up into controlling areas. You will be controlling an area. You have New Jersey all to your and 10 core self, sir.
Yay.
You will be one of our 2 New Jersey headmen, along with 10 core, who is also knows political election projections, who is one of our people. He and Dylan will be working together on New Jersey.
Yes.
I, of course, be working on Virginia in our 2023 House of Delegates and Senate elections there. Mr. Jacob Walters will be working on Mississippi and Louisiana as the 2 deep South states. And we are potentially looking for someone to do Kentucky. So be prepared on that. But it's interesting now. After tonight, obviously we're not going to put anything out about 2023 until we actually reach 2023. So, probably we won't see first numbers until first drops of our ratings until mid to late January, of course. But obviously those will start coming out here now. Yeah. They're going to start to drop, which is just going to be very interesting, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I'm also excited for the primaries.
Yes,
the primary drama.
We because it seems like Virginia Democrats are kind of pissed at each other after 2021. At the very least, in the state Senate, it looks like there's going to be more primaries than maybe one would usually expect from the Democratic side. Regarding their candidates, there's going to be quite a few. Both sides. So those will be fun to watch.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're going to have some fun ones yourself in
very fun. Yeah, we don't have any of the flashier races. We don't have the governor up, but I mean, hey, state level.
That's what Virginia is too. That's going to be the interesting thing with you and me because we don't have statewide races to bolster. Obviously, Mr. Walters is going to have a fun time with Mississippi and Louisiana. He's got 2 very interesting states down there himself. And Kentucky, of course, with Andy Beshear running for re-election, can he survive with his solid approval ratings? Obviously, Laura Kelly, another person who had very solid approval ratings, also survived, but very narrow. I think, talking about Kansas, did Laura Kelly do about where you expected, Dylan? Maybe a little bit better, a little bit worse?
No, she did about what I expected. I mean, she won by what, 2%?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
About 25,000 votes. Obviously, I think we all expected her to do not as good, obviously, as excuse me, I dropped some glasses cleaner there. As 2018, just because Derek Schmidt was, I think, very clearly going to get better margins in the rurals. I think we all kind of memory hold how bad Chris Kobach did in the West Kansas rurals.
Chris Kobach did do really poorly.
Incredibly awful.
Yeah,
in the Kansas rurals in 2018. And obviously Schmidt doing a lot, but I think he did better around Wichita specifically too. I think that's a place where he did significantly better than Kobach. But
yeah, I mean, it would have been hard to do a lot worse than Kobach in Kansas.
Yes, would have been very hard. But yeah. So obviously there's room, but I think even in terms of her approval, I still think there's a 7-point drop in Kansas. There were quality candidates running against Beshear too for Kentucky. So it's going to be very interesting to see. It will be a real test of proof. Of the governor approval theory to see if best, because I think who is that guy who lost to O'Malley in Maryland in 06? I think Bob Eroff or something like that. I think he was the last guy, I think, who was a governor with like 55 plus approval ratings to lose re-election, I think.
Yeah, and I can't see, like, obviously it's early and I'm not an expert. I can't see it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Like, approval rating is good. You want to be in the blue on approval ratings, but it's also Kentucky.
Yes. It is indeed also Kentucky. Dylan, you gotta I gotta use the bathroom. So Dylan, can you riff on New Jersey for 2 minutes here?
Yeah, I got this. So I'm not gonna riff on New Jersey, but I can answer some questions in the chat. I saw a few minutes ago, Planet Central asked if what we think the Minnesota trifecta will do, what we think the Michigan trifecta will do. I have heard that Michigan will be looking at ending right to work. I wouldn't be surprised by that. And if Minnesota doesn't make an attempt to legalize marijuana, then honestly, that's political malpractice at this point. It's a very it's not a super controversial issue anymore, and sapping the legalize marijuana now party of their political capital seems to be an objective good for them. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with them. And yes, Andy Bashir is running again. So fire in any more questions, or we'll wait for the drop. Biden's gonna run again. And I don't think Democrats are gonna complain anymore. If this midterm had gone differently, there would obviously be a different story. I think the knives would have come out, but Democrats gained in the Senate and they almost held the House. So I don't see any electoral argument to get rid of Biden. And the reality is there's just no clear bench. Nate Cohen tweets about the needle. Very exciting. Hold on.
I heard internal needle Warnock +3. Okay. That sounds right.
That
sounds right.
that
yeah.
Also, Planet Central asks, who do we think will be the RNC chair? I think the easy answer is Ronna McDaniel.
Easy answer is McDaniel. Interesting answer is the Hemi Dillon, I think. There.
I didn't even...
We'll see, because Zeldin announces tomorrow. So if Zeldin runs, then that throws everything into chaos, I think.
The meme answer is still Mike Lindell. He has no chance, but I think it would be hilarious if he won somehow. Mostly because it would be fun to see my Republican friends dooming for once instead of the Democrats dooming.
That's good for you, Dylan.
Hey, do you know how much dooming I saw amongst the Democrats in our group chat?
Oh yeah. As I made this joke on Twitter, Dylan, I want our chat to take a gander at what specific Georgia Congresswoman's district has the only one to experience a slightly larger than average drop in turnout compared to the rest of the state.
If you were watching the stream 20 minutes ago, you know the answer.
That's true. I forgot I said it, didn't I? I forget sometimes.
It's okay. Hopefully, we have a lot of new listeners.
Yeah, I hope so. We've actually been I'm surprised at how good we were tonight.
In terms of listeners or quality?
Yeah.
I hope both.
Both, I think. A little bit of both. I think the three with Kraz works a little bit better than it does with Eric. Because I love Eric when it's a 4, but when it's a 3 and it's like you and me and Eric doesn't have enough energy sometimes. But Kraz is kind of like me, in which he has quite a lot of energy. So all 3 of us actually have energy for this stuff. And that makes it a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we have a good energy, and the 4 of us have a great energy.
Well, yeah, it's always better when it's the 4 of us. Some of those 4 of us election nights were very fun. We're just very fun.
Yeah.
That's. I want to say thank our listeners again for following with us this whole season. This has been a cycle of unprecedented growth for the site. Please try and follow on YouTube, though. Though the slight rumor we may potentially be hopping shop a little bit towards a slightly larger channel.
Maybe.
Maybe. We are renegotiating things right now, of course, as terms of what's going to happen with 2023. Obviously, for now, election night cycles will go away for 2023 unless the states go crazy and decide, those gosh darn 2024 primaries, they just don't start early enough. So unless we start seeing October 2023 primaries, in which case you will see us back here very, very soon for primary night.
If we see October 20, that would be so utterly chaotic.
I am being told that Dave Wasserman has seen enough, unsurprisingly, as Fayette County came in and it was only Walker plus 1.
That's not good enough. He carried it by what, 3?
Yeah, I think he won it by 5. That's actually a very significant drop off, actually.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, obviously Decision Desk hasn't called it yet, but wrap the show up.
Yeah, dishes. Good night.
Yeah, wrap it up. We're done here.
Oh, you're right. It was only by 3 points. It was 2 point because it's a 2-point shift. 2.2 shift left.
But still, 2-point shift. That's all you need when you're 0.5 away from winning.
Yep.
Wrap it up.
Interestingly enough, Walker's actually going to probably end up hitting some of the margins in Forsyth and Cherokee that he needed. Funnily enough, he's probably going to come pretty close to hitting what his margins needed to be there. It's just that the South was such a cluster bump of mixed bag. And then he just isn't going to do enough in Atlanta, clearly. So.
I do think. I think it's really. I haven't baked this in much yet, Joe, but do you think it would be an apt comparison ideologically to compare Warnock's performances with Ron Johnson's? They're both much more on the partisan edges than their state would indicate, and yet they still seem to win fairly solidly against the environment.
I mean, obviously some people are going to get mad at you for that comparison because obviously in tonal form,
totally, of course,
Mr. Warnock is not the same to Mr. Johnson, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, no. Obviously, I like Warnock a lot more than I like Ron Johnson.
I understand the point you're saying is that Warnock is an inherently more partisan senator than a senator of a Biden plus 10,000 vote state would suggest.
Yeah, you would not expect Warnock to be to the left of Sinema and Bob Casey, and still be pulling this off.
Yeah, well, and sometimes candidate quality matters a whole lot too. And obviously, once again, as has been harped on many a times, Republicans just
drop the ball.
Do not do that. So
I also think it helps that Warnock is an exceptionally good speaker.
No,
And
Warnock is exemplary at speaking, obviously. No doubt about that.
like Warnock is a much more well-polished candidate than the average. So I think that helps. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay, my connection died.
Oh,
Hello. Yeah, I'm back.
you're back? Okay, that's good.
Yeah, my period of silence, that like 30 seconds, was just me not being here.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Do we still want to wrap up at 10?
Yeah, we're gonna, because I think we're heading towards a pretty clear outcome right now, and it's only the two of us. I don't even know if we
Yeah.
want to go the full 20 minutes. We'll see if like Fulton or
Yeah.
DeKalb drops anything else, but
I mean, I don't mind
not holding my
going
breath.
another 20.
Yeah. So according to the Times, they estimate that Fulton has the most votes out yet left, with around 163,000.
Oh,
Those
the
will go
needle
pretty
has
considerably.
returned.
No, I'm saying estimated remaining votes.
Yeah, no, I know. The needle has returned.
Oh, okay, and it's very okay. Well,
We're done.
we're done. Okay, cool.
95% chance for
Oh,
Warnock.
for Warnock. Okay, what we kind of figured. Okay, cool.
Woo!
We're gonna wrap this up at 9:50 then. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Needle's back. I feel better.
The needle does not show any pathway for Herschel Walker, so this is over.
Yeah, I mean, plus 3 is actually not a bad result for Warnock.
No, it's I had him at plus 4.5. I tweeted out I had him at plus 4.5 earlier today, so I'm a little bit below my expectations, but doesn't matter when it's doesn't matter, obviously. So
So, does that make this the first election cycle where no incumbent senator has lost re-election?
since 1934, I saw on Twitter,
Wow.
which that would have been first election post Roosevelt, where everyone was still very upset at the Republican Party. So
Wow.
that is 88 years. Yeah, 34 to 22. That's 88 years. You could have. There were people who lived and died in that time period,
Mm-hmm.
and lived very full lives too. They lived very full lives and died in that period.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here pretty quickly here, folks.
Yeah.
What is going to happen is what's going to happen, pretty clearly. So. Dylan, final thoughts.
This is very in line with where we expected it to be. I think Republicans should be kicking themselves a little bit for triaging this, but a 3-point margin probably wouldn't have been able to get made up by more spending. So I don't know. Candidate equality matters. Clearly.
Yes, clearly.
That's really all I got.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah,
This
good
has
night,
been
y'all.
our 2022 election cycle coverage. Again, we want to thank everyone who's been with us since basically early May when we held those Ohio primaries. I guess March, Texas.
Yeah.
all the way back in March, because I forgot Texas does theirs so early.
God, time is weird.
Texas all the way back in March. And then of course the bulk of it, all the primaries from May in Ohio to about mid-July, when we ran through, I'd say, like, what was it, like 35 states, I think, Dylan, 35, 36 states in their primaries
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
I
time
think.
period.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for that. What a time. We appreciate it a lot. I appreciate it. I know Dylan appreciates it. Kraz, Eric, and Jacob, and Adam, we all appreciate it very much. Hopefully, when we get to this time next year, we'll be doing the same thing and kicking ready for 2024.
Yeah. And to answer that one final question, yes, 3.5 million total votes sounds
Yep,
right.
that sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty right to me.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
All right.
We are expecting a Raphael Warnock victory, almost certainly. So good night, everyone. Democrats will take the Senate 51-49. We wish you all well. Good night. Have a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. And we will see you all very soon when we start podcasts rolling up again this Friday. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.